the real story behind Kate Middleton's parents, why their journey is more complex than it appears when most people think of Carole and Michael Middleton. They picture a fairy tale success story, the working-class parents who built an empire and watched their daughter marry a prince. But the reality behind their rise to prominence reveals something far more complex, marked by relentless scrutiny, social barriers, and the heavy price of royal proximity. The Middletons didn't start as the polished, upper-middle-class family we see today. Their story begins in the practical world of aviation, where two British Airways employees would meet and eventually build something extraordinary together. But that journey from airline workers to royal in-laws came with costs that most people never see. Carole Harrison was just another face in the crowd when she started working as a flight attendant for British Airways. It was demanding work, dealing with travelers at 30,000 feet, managing everything from routine service to emergency situations. The glamour that people associate with airline crew in the 70s was mostly myth. It was shift work, irregular hours, and constant pressure to maintain perfect composure, regardless of circumstances. Michael Middleton worked behind the scenes as a flight dispatcher, coordinating aircraft movements and ensuring safe operations. His role required precision and attention to detail, managing complex logistics that kept planes on schedule and passengers safe. These weren't glamorous positions, but they were solid middle-class jobs that demanded skill and dedication. When Carole and Michael met through their work at British Airways, neither could have imagined where their partnership would lead. They were two hardworking people building a life together in an industry that demanded constant professionalism and reliability. The skills they developed in aviation, attention to detail, customer service, and grace under pressure would prove crucial in the years ahead. Their wedding on June 21st, 1980, at St. James's Parish Church in Dorney was a modest affair by today's standards. This was before the business empire, before the royal connections, before the intense media scrutiny. It was simply two people in love, starting a family and dreaming of building something together. The arrival of their children changed everything for the Middletons. Catherine arrived in 1982, followed by Philippa and James. Suddenly, Carole wasn't just thinking about her own career trajectory. She was looking at the future through the lens of motherhood, considering what kind of opportunities she could create not just for herself, but for her growing family. This maternal drive led to one of the most significant decisions of Carole's life. In 1987, while many mothers might have been content with stable employment and a predictable income, Carole took an enormous leap of faith. She founded Party Pieces, a mail-order party supply company that started as little more than an idea and a kitchen table operation. The timing was precarious. Mail-order businesses in the 80s required significant upfront investment with no guarantee of return. Carole was betting everything on her ability to identify a market need and fulfill it better than established competitors. She was operating without the safety net of her British Airways salary, gambling the family's financial security on her business instincts. The early days of Party Pieces were a masterclass in bootstrap entrepreneurship. Carole handled everything: sourcing products, managing inventory, processing orders, customer service, marketing, and shipping. Every decision carried weight because there was no corporate structure to absorb mistakes. Every satisfied customer was crucial because word of mouth was her primary marketing tool. Michael's decision to leave British Airways in 1989 to join Party Pieces full-time represented another pivotal moment for the family. Now both parents were all in on this venture, with no guaranteed income from traditional employment. They were betting everything on their ability to build something from nothing, to create a business that could support their family and fund their children's futures. The pressure must have been extraordinary. They weren't just responsible for their own livelihoods anymore. They had 3 children depending on their success. The weight of providing educational opportunities, maintaining their standard of living, and building generational wealth all rested on the success of this party supply business that had started at their kitchen table. What makes their story particularly striking is how their success became both blessing and burden. As Party Pieces grew and prospered, the Middletons found themselves in an increasingly complicated position. They were successful business owners, but they weren't born into wealth or aristocracy. They had earned their prosperity through hard work and smart decisions, but that self-made success would later become a source of criticism and social tension. The business success allowed them to provide opportunities for their children that they themselves had never had. Catherine attended prestigious schools, participated in expensive activities, and moved in social circles that would have been impossible without the financial foundation her parents had built. But this upward mobility came with its own challenges. The Middletons were constantly navigating social situations where their background set them apart. When Catherine began her relationship with Prince William at university, the Middletons faced scrutiny unlike anything they had ever experienced. Suddenly, their business practices, their social background, their family history, and their every public appearance became subjects of intense media analysis. The privacy they had enjoyed as successful but relatively anonymous business owners evaporated overnight. The criticism was often brutal and class-based. Despite their business success and obvious devotion to their family, they were dismissed as social climbers, criticized for their entrepreneurial background, and subjected to endless commentary about their suitability as royal in-laws. The very success that had allowed them to provide opportunities for their children became a weapon used against them in the court of public opinion. Carole, in particular, faced harsh judgment that seemed rooted in outdated notions about social hierarchy. Her business acumen, which should have been celebrated, was instead viewed with suspicion. Her obvious love for her daughter and pride in her achievements were interpreted as calculating behavior. The poise and professionalism she had developed through years of customer service and business management were dismissed as artificial social climate. The financial investment the Middletons made in Catherine's wedding, contributing 6 figures to ensure their daughter had the celebration she deserved, became another source of controversy. Rather than being seen as generous parents supporting their daughter's happiness, they were criticized for their involvement in royal affairs. Their success had given them the means to participate fully in their daughter's wedding, but that participation was viewed through the lens of their non-aristocratic background. Even their property investments, which demonstrated smart financial planning and business sense, were scrutinized and criticized. When they purchased property that later appreciated significantly, it was seen as opportunistic rather than prudent. Their ability to benefit financially from their proximity to royalty was held against them, as if success in business should disqualify them from royal connection. The psychological toll of this scrutiny cannot be overstated. The Middletons had built their success through decades of hard work, smart decisions, and genuine business talent. They had created opportunities for their children through sacrifice and determination. Yet their reward for this success was constant public judgment and criticism that often seemed rooted in class prejudice rather than legitimate concern. What makes their situation particularly heartbreaking is how their very success became the source of their struggle. If they had been content with their British Airways careers, if Carole had never taken the risk of starting party pieces, if they had remained comfortably middle class but unremarkable, they might have enjoyed privacy and respect. Instead, their ambition and success made them targets for criticism that often felt deeply personal and unfair. The burden of royal proximity extends far beyond media attention. Every business decision party pieces makes is now viewed through the lens of royal connection. Every family gathering is potential tabloid fodder. Every personal milestone becomes a matter of public interest and commentary. The Middletons traded their privacy for their daughter's happiness and their family's success. But that trade came with costs that continue to accumulate. Their story also highlights the impossible standards applied to those who marry into or connect with the royal family. Traditional aristocrats are accepted despite inherited wealth and privilege they did nothing to earn. But the Middletons, who built their success through entrepreneurship and hard work, face constant criticism for achieving exactly what most people would consider the ideal outcome: financial independence through business success and family prosperity through smart planning. The irony is particularly sharp when considering how their background should actually be celebrated in modern Britain. They represent entrepreneurial success, social mobility, and the power of hard work to create opportunities. They built a business, supported their family, and provided their children with chances for advancement. These are traditionally celebrated British values, yet the Middletons face criticism for embodying them too successfully. The impact on their family dynamics cannot be ignored either. What should have been purely joyful milestones, their daughter's wedding, royal grandchildren, family celebrations, are now filtered through public scrutiny and media analysis. Private family moments become public events, and personal decisions carry implications far beyond their immediate family. For Carole and Michael personally, the transformation from private business owners to public figures represents a fundamental loss of the life they had built. Their success in business gave them independence and control over their circumstances, but their daughter's royal marriage, while bringing tremendous joy and pride, also brought a level of public exposure and criticism that no amount of business success could have prepared them for. The Middleton story reveals the complex reality behind fairy tale narratives about social mobility and royal connection. Their journey from airline employees to successful business owners to royal in-laws represents both tremendous achievement and significant sacrifice. They gained financial security and family prominence, but lost privacy and faced class-based criticism that often seemed to punish them for their very success. Their business acumen is undeniable. Building party pieces from a kitchen table operation into a successful company requires exactly the kind of entrepreneurial spirit that should be celebrated. Their devotion to their family is obvious in every decision they made to create opportunities for their children. Their grace under pressure, developed through years in customer service and business management, has served them well in navigating unprecedented public scrutiny. Yet the price they have paid for their success and their daughter's happiness reveals the harsh realities of class dynamics and public judgment in modern Britain. They are living proof that merit and hard work don't shield you from criticism, that business success doesn't guarantee social acceptance, and that royal connection comes with costs that extend far beyond what most people imagine. The Middletons continue to navigate this complex landscape with the same determination and professionalism that built their business success. They support their daughter, maintain their business interests, and handle public scrutiny with remarkable composure. But their story serves as a reminder that every fairy tale has costs that aren't visible in the final chapter, and that success often brings challenges that are just as significant as the reward. Their legacy isn't just about building a business or raising a daughter who married a prince. It's about demonstrating resilience in the face of criticism, maintaining family unity under unprecedented pressure, and proving that success earned through hard work deserves respect, regardless of social background. The real tragedy isn't in their circumstances, but in how those circumstances have been judged by others who mistake achievement for opportunism and success for social climbing. In the end, Carole and Michael Middleton represent something profoundly British: the belief that hard work, smart decisions, and family devotion can create opportunities and change circumstances. Their story is complex, marked by both tremendous success and significant challenges, but it's ultimately a story about two people who built something extraordinary together and paid a price for that success that continues to this day. Thanks for watching. If you found this video interesting, leave a like, subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the comments.